morning is what I call my to-do list, which is just like a constant list of things in my brain going on that needs to be done. I need to do my laundry and I need to go grocery shopping and I have textbooks for my own homework to read. Let's see, some people are thinking about what they're going to have for lunch. That's always a good thought. I personally love cooking, so I love thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the idea that we're always thinking, and sometimes we don't even realize it. So I want to kind of do a little bit of a test and see how well we're able to control our thoughts. So what I want to invite you guys to do is to close your eyes and try to think only of the number 3. I want you to try not to think about anything else for 30 whole seconds. So I'm going to get a timer running up here. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, get comfortable, think about the number 3, and I want you guys to try not to let your mind wander towards anything else for 30 seconds. And we are starting right now. Remember, we're supposed to be thinking about the number 3. If you find that your mind has wandered to something else, that's okay. Just take a minute, bring it back. Focus on the number 3. And that is 30 seconds. So you guys can open your eyes, take a deep breath. And I want to kind of talk, if you guys want to, about how it went for you. Were you able to only think about the number 3 that whole time, or did you find that your mind started to wander towards something else?
I kept doing 3, 2, 1. That's what my brain.
That's a good focus point, though. It might make it easier.
3.
It was hard for you, Alex?
Yeah, but I managed to do it.
Nice work.
My mind just kept saying, don't think of anything besides number 3, and then I would think of something that's not the number 3, like the number 2 or the number 5. Or...
Exactly. Anyone else? Yeah, that can be really hard. That's called the idea of like a guided meditation or a prompt meditation. And sometimes people can do those for a whole hour at a time. And you know, sometimes you can find them on YouTube where someone might give you something to think about taking a walk through the woods, and now you see something in the woods and whatever, but it's hard to keep your brain focused because you're just always thinking. It's a natural human process. So yeah, as you can see, our thoughts kind of have a mind of their own. So unless we're working hard to control them or paying attention to them, sometimes it's easy for them to just go in a different direction. So I want to try a little bit of an exercise in thinking or our thought process. So the prompt that we have is that someone cuts in front of you in the lunch line. And what might you be thinking? So if someone wants to raise their hand and give us an idea, or you can type it into the chat if you want, about what you would be thinking. Oh, go ahead, Alma.
I ask them why they cut me in line, and I tell them to go back to the end of the line.
Okay, what are you thinking when that happens, though?
Oh,
action, but what's your thought maybe in your head?
Like,
Kind of a tough one. Why don't you can raise your hand and I'll come back to you when you have a minute to think about it, okay?
Okay.
Can anyone else tell me what their thought process is? Yeah, Clara.
Like maybe like, hey, that was my spot in line. Like I was ahead of you. Go back to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, like.
Anyone else have a thought process? Go ahead, Emily.
I would be thinking, why did that person cut in front of me? Clearly, they know I was right there because they could have just cut in front of everyone, but why did they cut in front of me?
Very good. Miss Laws, she shared hers with everyone. It says, oh, I'm mad. Why do people cut? What about you, Alex? You look like you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Hoy, why'd you cut in line? You're not supposed to be here.
Very good. So some of the things that people might be thinking is, who does this person think they are? They knew I was standing there. Or this person must be really hungry. They probably didn't eat breakfast. Or maybe, that's strange. Maybe they didn't realize that I was standing in line. But those thoughts might also elicit some emotions or some feelings in us. So like a lot of you guys said, you kind of shared thoughts that showed that maybe you were a little bit annoyed or maybe a little bit hurt. Can you guys think of maybe some other emotions that those thought processes might make you feel?
Anger?
Very good, Alex.
Ryan, go ahead.
Make me feel mad. Very Maybe- mad. Maybe confusion, like why did they cut in front of you?
Confusion, that's an emotion. Tyler?
Annoyed.
Yep. See, someone said, I would think, hey, I'm so hungry. I would be so mad. All right, that's very good. All right, so other people might maybe feel amused or, like we said, confused, kind of surprised or annoyed. There's a lot of different words to describe feelings. So the next thing we want to think about is maybe what would you do or what would be your action in that case, which I know Alma kind of shared what her action might be, but can you guys think of what you would do in that situation, what your action might be? Go ahead, Emily. Oh, maybe you're just stretching, but it looked like you had your hand.
I was
Okay,
ready.
go
I
ahead.
My action would probably be like walk up to them and be like, "Hey, you cut in front of me. Why did you do that?"
Mhm. Go ahead, Subi.
My action would be I would tap them on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, I was in line first. You should go to the back of the line."
Okay. Go ahead, Clara. Oh, Clara said the same thing. Anyway, oh, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I would probably just say, hey, this is my spot in line. You should go to the back of the line.
Those all seem like firm yet polite responses. So what I want you guys to maybe take about 30 seconds, some private time to think about and answer these questions, or if you like, you can type something into the chat. I want to know if you guys think that our thoughts influence our feelings and our actions. So like, what if they are all connected? What could we do to improve our feelings and our actions? Just take 30 seconds. You guys can jot some stuff down. Miss Laws says, honestly, I'd probably say something in a mean way, kind of loud. No cuts, that's my spot. I wish I'd be more patient and say, excuse me, did you know that I was here? Do you think that it's okay to cut in front of me? Some very good points, Miss Laws. Sometimes our thoughts get outside of us before we have a chance to fully process them, and we don't always choose the best emotion or response. Okay, so like I said, we're supposed to be thinking about if our thoughts influence our feelings and our actions, if they're connected, and how could we use that connection to improve our feelings and actions. Think before I act. That's a very good one. So even right now, we're taking a few minutes to think about our thoughts and how they might influence our feelings and our actions. So doing that in the moment is also extraordinarily smart. Does anyone maybe want to share what they wrote down? That's just fine.
Emily?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Emily.
I wrote down that sometimes when it might wait, which one? Because I wrote down one for each one of this question.
That's okay. You can share all three if you like.
Oh, I will say the how action influence how what we think may influence our actions. I wrote down because our actions, no, our feelings might influence our actions because sometimes when you are thinking something and you're frustrated and you have a bad feeling, it can make you want to really go do something mean back to the person that was mean to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, trying to kind of get even, make them feel as bad as their actions might have made you feel. Yeah, like Miss Laws said, try to see it from the other person's perspective. Maybe ask myself, why are they doing this? Because most of the time, people don't do things to intentionally hurt us. Most of the time, people just aren't always thinking or aren't aware of the fact that their actions might cause someone else some frustrating feelings. So the idea of this lesson is to consider that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all linked. And it kind of goes in a process where we have a feeling or a thought in our head, and that might elicit a feeling, and that might draw an action from us. And we have to consider the way that those things impact one another. So the last prompt is, do you think it's possible to change your thoughts? What would happen to your feelings and actions if we paid attention to our thoughts? So you can go ahead and think about that answer to yourself, write it down on your piece of paper, or if you want to, you can share about it in the chat.
Watson, can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah, of course. The last one is, do you think it's possible to change your thoughts? What would happen to our feelings and actions if we paid attention to our thoughts?
Did you notice only one letter and only one letter?
And says, honestly, I think it's possible, but it's not easy. Definitely takes a lot of work. One says, yes, you can. That's a very positive outlook to have.
And I think you'd be spending like your entire day just trying to control your thoughts if you try to control your thoughts. You're spending all your time just trying to control what you were thinking about.
Sometimes I think maybe practice might make it a little bit easier, but I think you're right to think actively about your own body and your emotions and your thought process. It does take a lot of work. It takes practice.
Got people getting kicked out. Hey, Abby, I'm wondering if it's your computer. You should probably try to do a help ticket and get a new one. Has anybody gotten one of the new computers? Yeah, Deckard, is it working better?
No, I got this really. Never mind. Wait, never mind.
My touch screen isn't working.
What's the how do we email? How do we tell them that we need a new one?
You go to the student apps and you click it, and there's one that's got a student with its hand raised. It says help desk, or there's a phone number to call for the help desk, the student help desk, and then you request one. Okay.
Does anyone want to share what they wrote for our last prompt? Go ahead, Emily.
I think that it is possible, but if you, like Clara said, you might just spend your whole day thinking about it, and you may not be able to focus on what's actually going on.
Yeah, that's true. Someone in the chat said, I like to try to hang out with people who are good role models. It's a smart idea. People who make us want to be the best version of ourselves. Those are always good friends to have. Sometimes when I feel mad at someone, like my husband says, Ms. Laws, I force myself to say something nice to him. That's very good.
Makes me feel better.
Very good. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys, I found this awesome book that's called Just Feel. Show you guys the cover. And it's full of all kinds of different writing prompts or things to think about, some different exercises that we can do. So I'm hoping that we can use this book this year to try some different things, but I wanted to read the introduction to you guys because I think it's a pretty powerful message. So it says, take a deep breath right now. Breathe in, pause, and breathe out. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now in this moment? How do I feel? You don't need to share the answer with anyone. This question is just for you. For some, when you ask this question, you might think, I feel great. For others, you may feel really sad or angry or even lonely. Or you may be confused, not sure how you feel, and maybe that makes you scared. Or maybe that makes you feel at peace. Perhaps you think, I feel nothing. Most people may feel one way right now and completely different an hour from now or tomorrow, or perhaps they may feel more than one feeling at the same time. This is normal. Every person in the world goes through ups and downs. Every person feels happy and sad. And for some people, when they are sad, it's hard to remember that they ever felt happy. Your feelings don't define you. They come and go just like the clouds drift in and out of the sky. Sometimes the clouds are light wisps and seem to blow freely and effortlessly in the wind. And other times the clouds are dark and look heavy and rainy. The clouds, like your feelings, keep changing across the sky, and they may look different at times, but the sky is still just the sky. Similarly, you are more than your feelings, and while they may even seem overwhelming at times, with practice, you can remember that you are the one who is experiencing these feelings and that you can reflect and learn from them. You can develop skills to become aware of your feelings and be more comfortable with them. You can also learn how to see the way other people's emotions affect their lives, and maybe even yours. When you know what you're feeling, understand why you're feeling that way, and have ways to manage the tough times and celebrate the good ones, you will have more energy and power to get through the day. You are not your feelings. You are the one who is experiencing your feelings, and you get to decide what to do about them. So that's just an introduction. I'm sure we'll look at this book a few more times this year and do some of the different activities and exercises in them. I really appreciate you guys joining me for this today, and I really appreciate the sharing that you guys did both in the chat and in person. That's very kind of you to be open about that. And I just want to remind you guys that Ms. Laws and I are here. If you ever need to talk about something, my email address is on Canvas, I believe, so you guys can always reach out if there's something you need to talk about. I know Ms. Laws has a little bit of a writing prompt or a writing lesson for today.